Thanks for joining us once again. It's time for our parenting segment. One of the best things about being a parent is being able to pass on things that we've learned in all our years and experience on earth to a young version of yourself. Now, the good things, not the bad things, hopefully. Because there is a streak of stubbornness I see in my child sometimes. I'm like, okay, you got that from me. I don't want those ones to pass down. But the thing is, the conversation is family values. And passing on the right family values is extremely important. We have here with us Uncle Sele. He is a champion of values, education, empowerment, dedicated to shaping the hearts and minds of the next generation. He hopes to be a beacon of hope, a tireless advocate for human values and empowerment. And today's topic, importance of family values, who better to have a conversation with? Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Uncle Sele, this family values of a thing, I feel like it varies from generation to generation. And I also feel like it's also put people in a box based on what maybe their own parents did.
So that,
probably not so relevant today.
Okay.
So when you have meetings with parents, have conversations with young people, how do you begin the conversation on family values?
Okay, so we live in a time and season where we're seeing a whole lot of vices, in the society. And when you ask yourself, where does everything start from? Everything starts from the home. So, there's this thing with parents not transferring, the right kind of values to their children.
Yeah.
And we're talking about morals, talking about principles. So it means that in every home, there's a culture. Okay. So how do you create that culture? It means that you're saying that, look, this is us. So you're saying these are the things, or these are the ways that you're going to behave. This thing is very important because values are very important to you and to me. So let me use my own home for example. If I'm going to build a culture in my home, we say things like, look, in this home we say God first. In this home there is love.
Yeah.
You understand? So what I'm saying to my child in essence is, when you go out, that is the kind of character that you take outside. You learn. We learn at home. So you mean we're reading. Daddy reads to you. You read to daddy. Do you understand? When you get back from school, what did you learn in school today? Because you know that learning is a culture, is a value at home. When you go out, that's what you pour out. Do you understand? So because of the absence of all these values, it becomes very necessary for us to say, look, parents should begin to establish, family values at home. Because when your children go out, what you have taught them or what you didn't teach them, is what you see out there. So you see people doing a whole lot of stuff because of the values they have and because of the things that are also absent.
So I want to jump back to something you talked about initially. You said there are a lot of vices out there.
Oh, yes, there are a lot.
And I sort of, in my introduction, talked about the fact that I didn't want to pass on some things I didn't like. I feel like there are a lot of parents that can't give what they don't have.
True.
So isn't it now about creating your own personal values first?
Yes. You know that children will copy from you. They will learn from you. You're like a model and a mentor. So if you know that you don't have those things, what you need to begin to do first is begin to tell yourself, look, I need personal values. Because your children will see you. If you lie a lot, you are creating a pattern that your children will learn from. Do you understand? So they're going to learn that vice and say to themselves that this is okay. Because for every family, values create identity for them. You understand? Values help with, character development. Yeah. Values help with resilience, which is also a value. So it means when I go out, I remember something that my mom said to me.
Okay.
So mom said that if you're in this situation, this is what you should do. Because what we do as parents is we understand the times and the seasons, the challenges, and we say to our children, when you go out, these values will help you conquer the challenges and succeed.
It's so funny you should mention the issue of lies. Because I remember a particular story, I think it was probably 5 or 6 years ago, I heard this story online, and it was about a particular parent that was always avoiding the landlord. And he would always tell his child to go and tell the landlord that he's not at home. And he didn't really see it as a lie. And essentially he had taught his child to go and lie for him every time the landlord came to the door. And the boy got so good at it that eventually the father never knew when he was being lied to.
Exactly.
But he didn't realize he had actually nurtured that.
Transfer. You transfer. Every home does. Every parent. You know, there's this thing called transfer. So the home is a place of transfer. So you're transferring values to your children. You know, I remember my daughter. You know, because we talk about the body and everything like that. And one time she went out, and a boy said something to her, and she came home. She ran home, and she said, "Dad, I want to tell you something."
Okay.
You know, she was just pacing around. I said, "What's the problem?" And she said, a boy told me something. And I said, "What?" And because she told me, "Daddy, you need to teach that boy values because he doesn't know. You need to teach his parents also." And I was like, "What's the problem?" And when she told me, I said, I need to talk to that boy. So you see, those things help your children. You understand? Your children begin to grow, and when they have challenges, they come home and tell you.
So now the challenge is, we've had discussions on the show where we've realized that no matter how much of the values you've taught your child, it could probably just take one wrong group of friends or one day in the wrong household or visiting the wrong set of aunties and uncles to completely erase everything
that you've
taught. So having these values is one thing. Actually having it penetrate the mind of this child is a completely different thing.
Yeah,
Where do you
true.
begin?
So there's something I also do. When I send my children out, maybe they go out for sleepovers and all those things like that, I reach out to the parents of and I say, "How did my child behave?"
Okay.
Or sometimes what I do consciously is I tell that person, "Teach my child this thing."
Okay.
Have conversations with them. But if they go to a place where they learn something, what we do as parents is we prepare the minds of our children. Because you'll get to a time where you will not be there. We must have that at the back of our mind. And we must also leave space for errors, really, because they'll make mistakes and they will run to you. Sometimes my kids do things and they'll say, "Daddy, I'm sorry, I did something." I say, "Oh, please come, let's talk."
Okay.
Because you're not shutting them up.
Yeah.
There's always that's space for you to also train their minds to become better. Do you understand? Because they will make mistakes. But you see, because they can come to you, you can upgrade their minds with another set of values. Because what that happens is creating teachable moments, for you and for your child. Because your child knows that, okay, if I make a mistake, I can run to my dad or my mom, and they won't beat, kill me, and everything.
Exactly.
So you now teach again.
You've left an open door policy.
Exactly.
So now I wanted to touch on the personal values thing. I remember having conversation with Fela Durotoye, and he talked about his personal creed, and he printed this out, and he's distributed it to hundreds of people before, where making sure that you have something you've personally instilled as values in yourself that you display so that the children see it, not just hear it.
See.
Yeah.
So we tell parents, every time you have values, every time you have family values, let your children see, this is the TVC family. These are the things we do. These are our values. They see it every time.
You know what? This conversation can't end here. We have to take it onto social media. Make sure you tag us. That's Wake Up Nigeria TVCE. And tell us what you think about this. What sort of family values have you instilled in your children? Or have you at all yet? Maybe it's something you want to start today. At this point, we have to move on again. Thank you so much
Thank you so
for joining
much
us.
for having
See you
me.
again next week.
All right.